Hey, good morning, everybody. How are you? It is Monday, February 22nd. February is almost over. And today we are doing chapter 11. We are continuing with chapter 11, the universal form, verses 35 to 36. So welcome and thank you very much for being here. If you've never been here before, I'll just let you know what is going on, and that I recite a mantra or two, or sometimes three, in Sanskrit, and then I give you the word for word translation, and then the entire translation, and then I read the purport. Um, I am using the Bhagavad Gita as it is. This is the devotional text of the Bhagavad Gita. This is not the impersonalist Mayavadi text of the Bhagavad Gita. As it is, I maintain that God knows what he's talking about, and he's perfectly capable of explaining what he means. Oh, so um, we are about 2/3 of the way through this chapter. I hope everyone had a good weekend, as good as can be expected. my my sympathy and my prayers for this crazy snowstorm and all the people that have perished in it and that suffer in it and that continue to suffer in it. I hope that things have cleared up by now. Just crazy. Also, I want to thank you for supporting this weekly live stream. There's a chat here if you're watching this live, if you're watching this live on Facebook, or if you're watching this live on my YouTube channel, Adakayani Performs. There's a link here where you can donate. You can donate $1 to help support this channel. It helps keep the internet on. I also want to give a big shout out and thanks to my supporters, Matthew Hegum and Deanna Giordano, who were very generous with their donations. Really, really appreciate it. It was just such a nice surprise, and it helps me to keep going. Also, if you are interested in getting text alerts before I go live, because everyone is busy, everyone is managing to be busy, even during this time of the pandemic. You'll also notice in the live chat that there is a place where you can sign up for SMS text alerts. So there you go. That link is there too. And then last but not least, if you want to support the channel in another way, I'm also made mugs. I made mugs specifically centered around Mantra Monday. We have Namaste, it's Mantra Monday, and also have Rise and Shine. We'll also have a Mantra Monday helps me rise and shine. So there, the link is there for that as well. Okay, so now that we got that covered, let us get into it. I don't know why I managed to get the sniffles right before, every week right before, but this week I'm smart. I got myself a little box of tissues. So I hope that you've got your coffee and your tea or your lunch, wherever you're tuning in from, taking a break. Okay, so text 35, first the Sanskrit. Sañjaya uvāca etac śrutvā vacanam keśavasya kṛtāñjalir vepamānaḥ kirīṭī namaskṛtvā bhūya evāha kṛṣṇaṁ sa-gadgadaṁ bhīta-bhītaḥ praṇamya. Sañjaya uvāca etac śrutvā keśavasya kṛtāñjalir vepamānaḥ kirīṭī namaskṛtvā bhūya evāha kṛṣṇaṁ sa-gadgadam bhīta-bhītaḥ praṇamya. Etac śrutvā vacanam keśavasya kṛtāñjalir vepamānaḥ kirīṭī namaskṛtvā bhūya evāha kṛṣṇaṁ sa-gadgadaṁ bhīta-bhītaḥ praṇamya. Translation, word for word. Sañjaya uvāca. Sañjaya said, etat, thus, śrutvā, hearing, vacanam, the speech, keśavasya, of Kṛṣṇa, kṛta-añjaliḥ, with folded hands, vepamānaḥ, trembling, kirīṭī, Arjuna, namaskṛtvā, offering obeisances, bhūyaḥ, again, evāha, also, evāha, said, kṛṣṇaṁ, unto Kṛṣṇa, sa-gadgadaṁ, with a faltering voice, bhīta-bhītaḥ, fearful, praṇamya, offering obeisances. Translation. Sañjaya said to Dhṛtarāṣṭra, O king, after hearing these words from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the trembling Arjuna offered obeisances with folded hands again and again. He fearfully spoke to Lord Kṛṣṇa in a faltering voice, as follows. So, to put this in context before I read the purport, Sañjaya, he is the secretary to King Dhṛtarāṣṭra. Dhṛtarāṣṭra is the father of Duryodhana, and actually he has many, many sons. But Duryodhana is significant because Duryodhana, he is the general, he is the cousin brother also of Arjuna, and he has decided to be on the opposing side. He is from the Kuru side of the family, the Kuru dynasty. And so Dhṛtarāṣṭra is actually seated in his royal chambers, and Sañjaya has been given this blessing that to be able to see, he is clairvoyant and he is clairaudient, to be able to see what is going on in the battlefield, which is miles away. So Dhṛtarāṣṭra, of course, is very anxious because, his sons and everything that they have been scheming and plotting to do to take away the kingdom from the Pandavas, the time has come, right? It's happening. So he's very, very interested in this conversation between Kṛṣṇa, Bhagavan Kṛṣṇa, and Prince Arjuna. So that's who Sañjaya is, and that's who Dhṛtarāṣṭra is. So the purport says, as we have already explained, because of the situation created by the universal form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Arjuna became bewildered in wonder. Thus he began to offer his respectful obeisances to Kṛṣṇa again and again, and with a faltering voice he began to pray, not as a friend, but as a devotee in wonder. So this theme or this fact is repeated over and over again of how, when up until the point that we've gotten to the chapter of the universal form, Arjuna has been relating to Kṛṣṇa as his friend, as his buddy, really. And he is accustomed to seeing Kṛṣṇa in his two-handed form. This is the original form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But because Arjuna asked, Kṛṣṇa is displaying his Vishvat Rupa, he is displaying the universal form. And it's a terrible form to behold because he is seeing all past, all present, all future. He is seeing his destiny. He is seeing time itself, all living entities, and all these aspects of the Lord in his different opulences, all in the same place at the same time. And it has been compared to, if you could imagine 100,000 suns rising all at the same time. Perhaps that would give you an idea of the glaring effulgence that is emanating from the universal form of the Supreme. So You know, Arjuna, basically he's freaked out. He's freaked out. And but because he's a bhakta, he's able to barely keep it together, but he's able to offer these prayers. He's able to offer these ecstatic prayers. So Prabhupada explains that this is normal. This is normal that when you are in a state of wonder, to repeat yourself again and again, and that this isn't a fault. So if this uh, chapter, or if what Arjuna is saying here seems to be repetitive, this is this is the reason why. This is one of the symptoms. Okay. So again, he's moved out of, just, oh, we're buddies, to like in a mood of wonder, which also is accompanied with some bewilderment. Okay, so now text 36. Arjuna uvāca stane yurishikeshtava prakirtya jagat prahisyati anurayate cha rakshamshi bitani disho dravanti sharve namasyanti cha sira sangaha. One more time. Arjuna uvāca stane yurishikeshtava prakirtya jagat prahasyati anurajate cha raksham shibitani disho dravanti sharve namasyanti cha siddha sangaha stane rishikesha tava prakirtya jagat prahasyati anurajayate cha rakshamshi bitani disho dravanti sharve namasyanti cha siddha sangaha. Translation. Arjuna uvāca, Arjuna said, stane, rightly, Hirishikesh isha, O master of all senses, tava, your, prakirtya, by the glories, jagat, the entire world, prahisyati, is rejoicing, anurajate, is becoming attached, cha, and rakshamsi, the demons, bitani, out of fear, dishaha, in all directions, dravanti, are fleeing, sharve, all, namasyanti, are offering respects, cha, also, sirasangaha, the perfect human beings. Translation. Arjuna said, O master of the senses, the world becomes joyful upon hearing your name, and thus everyone becomes attached to you. Although the perfected beings offer you their respectful homage, the demons are afraid, and they flee here and there. All this is rightly done. Purport. Arjuna, after hearing from Kṛṣṇa about the outcome of the battle of Kurukshetra, became enlightened, and as a great devotee and friend of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he said that everything done by Kṛṣṇa is quite fit. Arjuna confirmed that Kṛṣṇa is the maintainer and the object of worship for the devotees and the destroyer of the undesirables. His actions are equally good for all. Arjuna understood herein that when the battle of Kurukshetra was being concluded, in outer space there were present many demigods, siddhas, and the intelligentsia of the higher planets, and they were observing the fight because Kṛṣṇa was present there. When Arjuna saw the universal form of the Lord, the demigods took pleasure in it, but others, who were demons and atheists, could not stand it when the Lord was praised. Out of their natural fear of the devastating form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they fled. Krishna's treatment of the devotees and the atheists is praised by Arjuna, In all cases, a devotee glorifies the Lord because he knows that whatever he does is good for all. Okay, so this is interesting. This speaks to the absolute nature of God. So my grandfather always used to say, uh, everything that God made is good, or everything that God does is good. So how to understand that in earthly terms or in worldly terms, or from the perspective of Arjuna, because actually we are interested in the transcendental perspective of that. So here, it's first important to know that Kṛṣṇa, that name, means all attractive. So Kṛṣṇa is all attractive because he possesses all opulences. God is the soul of everything. He is the maintainer, right? He is the enjoyer. Nothing can exist without him. All the planets are suspended in outer space because of his energies, because of his potencies. And the rain is falling, and the sun is shining, and the sun is setting, and the moon is waxing and waning, and the tides are coming in and out. And all these things are happening because Lord Vishnu, right, is maintaining us in this way. And not only this planet, but all the planets, and not only all the planets in this universe, but all the universes. So I say that because it's mentioned here that the demigods also came to watch and to listen to Krishna speaking on the battlefield. So just like in our human society here on the Earth planet, we have, you could say, kind of a social hierarchy, right? This is also existing within the universe. Of course, to be a demigod or to be a siddhi, to be a perfected being that's actually able to reside in another atmosphere, in a more pleasant atmosphere, relatively untouched by the vicissitudes of Kali Yuga, you have to be qualified to have been given that kind of a body, right? Of a siddhi or of a demigod. We've talked about that before. Still, the human form of life is extremely valuable, and it should be understood that in this age, in Kali Yuga, the demigods have actually prayed to take birth in this time, because this time is a time where we can make incredible amount of spiritual progress and advance very rapidly in a very short amount of time, because of the fact that our situation here at the moment is so dire. So this is a special benediction of this age and of this time. All the distress and the difficulties we have just trying to maintain ourselves and trying to withstand so many catastrophes. It's also like a golden ticket, to be able to accelerate that spiritual progress. And of course, Nityananda Prabhu's appearance day is actually this week. It is the 24th, so that is a Wednesday. And Nityananda Prabhu, excuse me, is Patita-pāvana. He is the most merciful. He's even more merciful than Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he is really giving shelter, and he is really, I would say, like the first person to approach during this time period that we are in. It's said that we should seek Nityananda Prabhu's mercy. If we can get Nityananda Prabhu's mercy, then our ticket home is guaranteed. He may not understand all the things that I'm saying, and that's okay. There's many layers to this, but we learn just from hearing, and I really appreciate your association, and I really appreciate you just hearing. Because it helps me hear as well. So it says here that when Arjuna saw the universal form of the Lord, the demigods took pleasure in it, but others who were rakshasas, the demons and the atheists, they couldn't stand it when the Lord was praised, so they ran away. So this gets back to an example that I have given many times, actually, that Srila Prabhupada gives many, many times, that to a devotee, because essentially Arjuna is looking into the mouth of death here. He's looking into the jaws of death. But for a devotee who has understood and who has cultivated this relationship with Kṛṣṇa, right, with the Supreme, it's actually not a fearful thing. It's more of a friendly thing. It's an opportunity to make a transition to a eternal state of being, right? It is an opportunity to be reinstated, to regain our spiritual body. I mean, actually, we have a spiritual body. The spiritual body currently is covered over and encased in this material form, or in this mortal coil that we have now. But with the right consciousness, right, with the right appreciation, with the right mentality, with the right behavior, we can be reinstated into that eternal platform. So that's how the devotee is seeing death. The devotee is seeing death, the yogi is seeing death as an opportunity, right? But uh, the rakshasas and the demons, who they're not even thinking, about their soul. They're so busy constantly trying to control, constantly trying to, manipulate circumstances in their favor. They are so materialistic. They are so absorbed, in the material world. They can't even understand things like there is no scarcity, that there's enough to go around for everyone, that if you treat other people and if you treat the environment properly and you put God in the center of that, you base all your relationships around that, that you'll be happy and joyful. They can't understand that in their current state of consciousness. And so for them, when they see this, they're just like, they either become afraid and they run away, and they're also filled with envy, right? They're filled with envy and anger, go back to their corners and try and see how they can, kill God. So this is the folly, because of course you can't kill God. Right? God is eternal. But so this is the play, this is the back and forth that we're experiencing here in this world, this sort of dance of good and evil, of altruism and selfishness, of abundance and destruction. So that is what's going on here. And so Arjuna says, this is rightly so. In other words, everyone, excuse me, here, they are acting according to their mentality, right? They're acting according to their mentality. It reminds me of another pastime that I'm very fond of, and that is when Kṛṣṇa goes to wrestle Kamsa in Mathura. And Kṛṣṇa looks like, he's like 16 years old, or he appears to be 16 years old. Of course, the Lord is eternally youthful. He never looks any older than that. And when Kṛṣṇa entered the ring, all the people that were assembled there, the yogis, the devotees, the mental speculators, the rakshasas, the people that were on Kamsa's side, they all saw Kṛṣṇa in a different way, depending on what their consciousness was. That's how they saw him. Some saw him just as an ordinary boy, right? I mean, perhaps a very beautiful boy, but still an ordinary boy. So, as is everything in life, we are always approaching things from our own perspective and our own point of view. But what the Bhagavad Gita is trying to do, and what the Srimad Bhagavatam is trying to do, is that it is trying to lift us up and give us some cosmic insight. It is trying to furnish us with a platform, with a transcendental foundation by which, we can understand transcendental knowledge, ourselves, and everything around us, and everything that we use, everything that we eat, all facilities and resources that we have in literally a cosmic context. Because we always say that everything is interconnected, right? The environmentalists say that everything is interconnected. This is a definitely, like a new age term, or even an old age term, right? If you talk to farmers, they have a pretty good understanding of how one thing affects everything else, at least if they're farming in the old school way. So this is just a great kind of a zooming out and seeing things from a very, very high perspective, instead of being here on the ground, we're able to go all the way up, to the upper planetary systems and get an understanding. So it says here, and I will close with this, that Arjuna says that, just by hearing your name, people become happy, right? Everyone is joyful. Everyone becomes attached to you, Kṛṣṇa, just by hearing about you, right? And that naturally they want to approach you. They want to see you. So this is the fruit, really. This is what you get when you practice devotional service, when you practice bhakti yoga. Your appetite for hearing transcendental subject matter increases exponentially. You always want to be in that atmosphere. You always want to hear more and more and more, about the Supreme, because you have fallen in love with the Supreme, or you have re-fallen in love with Supreme. You have rediscovered your love for the Supreme. And so, as is with anything that you love, right? Mundane examples, your favorite television show, or your favorite musician, your favorite sports team, whatever it is, anything that they do, any development, you're there for it. So that's what bhakti yoga essentially is about. It's about being there for it. So I hope that you enjoyed this. I have put in the translation for the verses that we read today in the description. At least I put in 1135. I am going to now put in the chat here for verse 1136. There you go. So you've got the whole thing there. You've got the Sanskrit. You've got the word-for-word translation. You have the synonyms. And so if you want to go back and, read over all of this, you can. I wish you a really fantastic week, and I will see you again next Monday.